morning, Dr. Taylor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. As I like to say, great day, great day, great day. It's a wonderful time to be alive, and we're going to talk today about some things that are just going to be casual, but very, 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 very important. Again, thank you all for being here with us today on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. That's right, the Right Stuff Helps. We're here on WMPR 90.1 FM on your radio dial, broadcasting out of Jackson, Mississippi. We are the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. Right stuff, why right stuff? I always like to say, you drank the wrong stuff, you ate the wrong stuff most of your life, you looked at the wrong stuff, you just plain old did the wrong stuff. And it's about time that you got your hands on the right stuff. And that's what we're bringing you, the right stuff. I told my wife that I wanted to put a book together, and the book was going to be entitled The Truth, the Whole Truth, and Nothing But a Lie. And she told me that was a little strong, because what I'd be talking about is how the system makes us believe that things are true that are not true, and that the system has basically duped us. But the scriptures say that my people perish for lack of what? Knowledge. Some have even gone so far as to say, if you want people of color to miss something, just put it in a book, because they're not going to read. Now, they'll look at all the videos and all the stuff on TV. They'll look at that, but they just won't read. And so a lot has been hidden from us in words. A lot has been given to us that we see and that we hear, and it's just not true. It's something, folks, and I've fought it for 41, almost 42 years, just trying to put good information out to knock out some of this bad information, this miseducation that we've been given. There was a gentleman, and he wrote a book. It was called The Miseducation of the Negro. It was Carter G. Woodson. Miseducation of the Negro. In other words, we weren't given the same information that the rest of the people were given. Our books were different. Everyone had their history in the book, except for us. There was no history about us in the book. Powerful stuff. How can you go back and actually study a race of people if there's no history about them? So we were like Casper the Ghost. We don't even have our own language. We're ashamed of our language that we have, and one day we'll talk about that too. But we're the only people on the planet that don't have their own language. So we just don't exist. We're just, like I say, Casper the Ghost. It's so sad. And then we got off of those slave ships years ago, and we had traveled across the seas, living with chains around our necks and around our ankles, living in our own excrement and our own urine. And when they came off those boats and unshackled us, we walked out onto the shores of America, the ones that survived. And it was a powerful thing. Why? Because the Caucasians, the European Americans, had brought all kinds of sickness to America. The Indians, the American Indians, the native Indians were getting sick with malaria and bubonic plague and the yellow death and the black death, all these diseases that the European Americans had brought from Europe and brought to the United States, to America. And the Indians were dropping like flies. Whole reservation, they were just dropping like flies. And then the Africans just got out and walked right across the Black Death and the bubonic plague and the malaria and so forth. We just walked across. Why? Because of, and again, we're going to be talking today about eating, healing, and herbs. What we ate when we were in Africa was totally different from what we eat here in America and other places today. We ate pristine vegetables and fruits. I mean, just a vast variety. You're talking about the Garden of Eden, folks. That's where it all started. Hope you can get this. All of Africa, all of that sat right in the midst, okay, of where we find the Garden of Eden, okay? That's kind of deep, folks, but it all started in Africa. It all did. So what am I saying? I'm saying we ate lots of vegetables, lots of fruits, lots of grains, things that grew loftily up in the air since the beginning of time. And so we were strong. We were strong based on the foods that we ate. which were the foods that God gave in the very beginning that were to make man strong. For those who have just joined, I'm Dr. Franco Taylor, and we're just having a conversation today. We're going to talk about eating, we're going to talk about healing, and we're going to talk a little bit about herbs and why they're so important. Um, and if we notice something, God tells us and teaches us through His Word what's important. And it's so simple. It is so simple that everyone misses it. So today we're going to just take our time and look at it on a simple basis. Now, we're not going to go way up in the air. We're going to just stay on the ground and stay rooted and grounded. And so we're talking about eating. Why eat? What's the purpose of eating? Well, most people eat. They don't eat to live. They live to eat. What do I mean? You can be sitting at breakfast with your friends, right? And one of them will say, hey, man, where are we going for lunch? Another one say, well, when we leave lunch, where are we going for supper? Okay. So we'll be sitting at one meal already planning for the next meal. We live to eat. Churches have picnics, okay? They sell dinners. Every meeting that they they have all kinds of food and snacks and so forth at the meetings, or they leave the meeting going somewhere to eat, or they have the meeting at the restaurant. So again, people have this love affair with food. It's an amazing thing because, well, we'll talk about it. We're going to look at how food got us in trouble to begin with. Even sin, sickness, disease, and death came into this world because of bad eating. Did you realize that? The doctors and even the preachers will downplay the importance of food and eating. It doesn't matter. Just eat anything you want to eat as long as you pray over it. Is that true? I don't know. Let's take a look and see. In the beginning, when God created man, He gave him the fruits, the nuts, the grains, and the vegetables. Well, the fruit, nuts, grains in Genesis, the first chapter, verse 29. Right after He created man, He gave him his food to eat. He knew that man was a forever creature. He was going to live forever. There was no death. He was created in the image of God. He was perfect, but he still had to have a fare, something to eat. And so God gave him in Genesis 1:29, He says, I have given you, in other words, this is a command, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. So man was given in the beginning fruit, nuts, and grains, everything that grew way up in the air. So when he reached up for this food that he did not plant, who was he reaching towards? He was reaching towards God. So there was an order in the way God did things, and God gave him food. And remember, in the beginning, man was going to live forever. So the food that God gave him was what kind of food? Forever food. Oh boy, does that make any sense to you? It was forever food. It wasn't the only food because man would decide later to eat things he wasn't supposed to, but it was the best food. And that's what we talk about, the best food in combinations. It's a part of our little manuscript that's called the Bible Way, Bibleway. And the first letter is a B, which stands for best food in combinations. Not too long ago here on this program, I was telling everybody that the best food was fruits, nuts, and grains and vegetables. And a gentleman got on, man, and he started arguing with me, and he started fussing and got excited and said that I had said that if you eat meat, you're going to die and go to hell or something. I don't know what he was saying, but I never said that. I was only saying that if you're eating animal products, you're going to be sick because animals carry disease. They carry disease. And that wasn't the first food that God gave man. The first food that God gave man was fruit, nuts, and grain. And after he sinned, then God added vegetables to the diet. And so we can see that the best food is fruit, nuts, grains, and vegetables. The animals, man decided to eat later on. But the fruit, nuts, grains, and the vegetables still gave man a long life. He lived to be in excess of almost 1,000 years, 900 and something years. Adam lived to be 930. Noah lived to be 950. Methuselah lived to be 969. So the first 10 generations before the flood, They lived to be an average of over 900 years. So that was longevity food. It was forever food. But after the flood in Genesis, the ninth chapter, God allowed man to eat animals. He said, you can eat the animals, every living thing you can eat, but don't eat the blood or the fat with the animal. And of course, man doesn't do it that way. The fat's still in there and the blood's still in there, and man is eating it. Do you think that God knew that fat was going to cause a problem in 2021? That man that was eating all these animals was going to have diabetes, he was going to have cancer, so forth, so on. And then the fat, well, we know the blood causes all those types of disease. Then the fat causes all the high blood pressure. And that cardiovascular disease is the number one killer in the world today. Do you think God knew that way back several thousand years ago, that man continued to eat the animals, that his life was going to be shortened? Well, that's what he said in Genesis, the ninth chapter. He said, for every animal that you kill, I'm going to require the blood of your life. How does he require the blood of your life? He shortens your life. How do I know that was true? Again, up until the flood, man was eating fruits, nuts, and grains, and then vegetables were added. And he was living to be almost 1,000 years old. Well, Noah, once the ark landed, God allowed them to eat the animals, okay? And when he did that, Noah's son, Shem, the very next generation, Noah lived to be 950. His son, Shem, only lived to be 600. Are y'all listening to me? 300 years dropped after the flood. The very next generation dropped 300 years of longevity. Instead of living to be 900 and some odd years, the young man only lived to be 600. Are y'all getting that? And then his son, Arphaxad, only lived to be 400. Are y'all getting this? 2 generations, and man's longevity dropped in half. And it goes on several generations down to get down to 200 years. Peleg and gentlemen like that only lived to be 200 years. What was the difference after the flood? Man was allowed to do what? Eat the carcasses of dead animals. And that is what brought him down. And, a lot of folks say, well, yeah, I hear you. And I don't want to be the one to deliver the doom. But you got to understand that 9 out of 10 of the diseases that man has came from animals. That's right. I know you don't want to hear that. Cowpox, chicken pox. Oh, come on, folks. Are y'all listening to it? Mad cow disease, malaria, all of these different diseases came, rabies, all this stuff comes from the bird flu, comes from animals, comes from our pets, the feces from our pets. We're touching them. We have to clean up their poop, so forth, so on. And we got all these diseases. I know you love your pets. I'm simply saying you got to realize that being around animals all these generations, getting close to them, eating their flesh, all the different types of worms, the hookworms, the pinworms, the tapeworms, all brucellella, all this stuff comes from animals. Are you listening to me? And our eating animals, our love affair with the flesh of animals is causing us some serious, serious sickness. That's right. You're looking at things like diabetes and high blood that are basically caused from the eating of animal products. And I say sometimes that eating food with a face is not God's design for the human race. Okay, that rhymes, doesn't it? It does. But the key is that I'm not saying you can't eat animals. I'm not saying that you're going to die and go to hell because you eat animals. What I am saying is that you're going to be sick because animals are the largest breeder of disease on the planet. And when you eat them, then you're going to get them. Remember, the COVID that we're so afraid of, and we have all the reason to be because of the danger of this COVID, started with a bat that was eaten in a wet market over a year and a half ago in Asia. And it went from the bat to the man, back to the animals, back to the man, and it kept going back and forth. And every time this corona type virus, this SARS type virus, every time it would appear, it would be stronger and stronger and stronger. It kept evolving, folks. And now we've got things out there. It's no longer the Wuhan. It has evolved 30, 40, 50 times. We've got a South African variant that's so powerful and so deadly that there's nothing that can even touch it. Okay. We've got the Delta variant. Whoa. I mean, just this stuff is so powerful that there's nothing that they can do with it. You and I both know that. And the common sense to the whole thing is, and again, I'm not saying don't get vaccinated. I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying that you need the right vaccine. And the vaccine that they're giving us, the Johnson and Johnson and the Pfizer and so forth, Moderna, all these are basically based on the Wuhan strain, which was the first virus a year and a half ago. And the virus has evolved 50 times. It is 100 times stronger than it was a year and a half ago. And we're still using the same vaccine to kill it. My question is, can that work? Can that be expected to work? Or do we need vaccines to meet or to fight or to try to hold in check the viruses that we're running across today? The type of SARS viruses that we're running across today, like the Delta, like the triple mutant, the double mutant. I mean, there's some stuff that's so strong, folks, that I'm wondering how we plan to keep it in check with the old Wuhan strain of vaccine. Or do we need new vaccines? Do we need boosters? Yes, we do. We need lots of boosters. You need a lot because science has said that once you give an individual the vaccine, once you take the vaccine into your system, it'll make antibodies. Yeah, your body will begin to make antibodies because you've just placed in it the basic protein for the making of a virus. So your body is making virus and your body is fighting virus. And it's making immune boosters. It's making these antigens. And but it says that 81 to 85 days, it'll stay in there doing that. But what do you do after 85 days? You need another vaccine or you need another booster. So all this needs to be looked at, folks. If you're going to do this thing, you need to do it right. You need to do it scientifically. You don't need to just follow what a system is telling you. You need to understand for yourself what is actually going on. And all this is readable. Again, if you want to hide things from the masses, put it in a book. But you can Google and you can see about vaccines, how vaccines work. Will they work? How long they'll work? Do you need a booster? So forth, so on. You can read up on all that, folks. So again, today we're talking about eating, we're talking about healing, and we're talking about herbs. I'm gonna do something here for a second. For those of you who have just joined, this is Dr. Franco Taylor here on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. Right stuff. We're talking the right stuff, not the wrong stuff. You've had enough of that. We're talking the right stuff. We're talking about the right stuff as it relates to eating. It's an amazing thing, but all of the major health organizations, including the WHO, which is the World Health Organization, okay, governmental-based agency, they have decided, the Cancer Foundation, the Diabetes Association, epilepsy, cancer, all of them said that if individuals would eat a certain food, that all those diseases would go away. What was that certain food? It was fiber. And what is fiber? Fruit, nuts, grains, and vegetables, the same food that God gave man in the beginning. Okay? That's a powerful piece. You got to get that. You got to get that. Even the health organizations are telling you if you eat a plant-based diet, that those diseases could be under control. That 9 out of 10 heart attacks are what? They're preventable. They're preventable. They're preventable. You don't have to have that first heart attack. And all you got to do is back down off of all of that animal product, the animal foods. Are you listening to me? I say that listening to a gentleman, I'm trying to think of what the doctor's name was, but he said that when you're eating animals, that cholesterol is a powerful piece. The animal's already dead, but he's putting a little piece of him in you. He's leaving it in you. That cholesterol gets in your arteries and your veins, and it clogs up and it adds up. Over the years, it completely cuts off your arteries and veins, and you end up with a 3 or 4 or 5 bypass. And the animal's been dead a long time, but he reaches back and gets his revenge against you when you eat him and his cholesterol gets into your veins and shuts it down. That's right, it shuts it down. Wow, that's heavy, folks. An actual shutdown because of cholesterol. There's no cholesterol in broccoli. There's no cholesterol in squash and greens and green beans. Cholesterol is only found in animal products. You need to get that because we're talking a little bit about eating and why eating is important. You know, we went from what I call kernel to kernel. Back in the days of the Depression, all that kind of time, overseas countries literally they got so healthy during the Depression because all they did, they lived on farms. All they had was the vegetables that they could grow, the potatoes and the corn. Okay. So they had kernels of corn. And although they were thin, they were very healthy. They didn't have high blood, they didn't have diabetes, they didn't have all these sicknesses that are killing us today, these non communicable diseases. They didn't have them. They weren't obese. There was no obesity because everything was lean. Okay. But then after the Depression and food started getting back into the system, people were able to eat meat again. Guess what? Within a few decades, they started doing what? Getting all those diseases again. They went from kernels of corn to Colonel Sanders. Get it? From Colonel to Colonel. I thought that was quaint. They went to Colonel Sanders. They started eating all that chicken, all that meat, all that cholesterol. There was a gentleman by the name of Bart Maverick. His name was Bart Maverick. Well, Bart, I'm trying to think what his name was. Bart. Well, anyway, Bart Maverick was his name. We call him Bart. He was in a movie that was the Maverick Brothers, and he was one of the cowboys. But the bottom line was, he started back in the 60s talking about the importance of eating meat. He said that meat was real food for real people. This is what I'm saying. He said meat was real food for real people. Boy, he was saying, men, if you're a real man, you're going to eat you some steak, man. Pork chops, you got to have them, right? What they didn't tell you was that a year after those commercials began, that Bart literally did what? He had a 5 bypass. All 5 of his arteries clogged up, closed up, and shut down. And they had to operate on all 5 of them to get elastic or plastic in there to get his arteries to working again. Are y'all listening to that? Real food for real people. And that real food almost took him out. They didn't tell you that. He advertised for well over a year, telling everybody that meat was real food for real people. You need to watch out, folks. You're being miseducated. Again, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but a lie. Oh my goodness. They even came out with something once when people stopped eating so much animal, they started saying that pork was the new white meat. Did y'all get that? It was the new white meat because it was so light colored. Oh man, they said you need some pork. It's the light meat. Well, anyway, folks, I'm simply saying that you can be deceived if you want to be deceived. And when it comes to diets that allow you to eat lots of animal, the keto diet and the Atkins diet and the Pritikin diet and the diet and the Oprah diet, the almost diet, all I'm saying is I'm not knocking any of that. I'm simply saying you've got to think about what it is that you're putting into your body if you want to be well. So again, this is Dr. Franco Taylor. You're here with me on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. We're talking this morning about eating, and we're talking about healing, and we're talking about herbs. So the first part of this, we're talking about eating. What is it about eating that's important? Well, there's certain things that you get from your food, and that is proteins, carbohydrates, you get sugars, you get fats. All these are things that you need. But the one that gets us the most is the protein. And we're told that vegetarians don't get protein, don't get enough. And that is a farce. Again, truth, the whole truth, and nothing but a lie. That can't be true. Why? Simply because bulls are vegetarian. Racehorses are vegetarian. Gorillas are vegetarian. Elephants are vegetarian. Rhinoceroses, they're all vegetarian. They're the strongest, fastest, longest living animals on the planet. And they don't eat meat. So where do they get their protein from? They get it from the fruits, nuts, grains, and vegetables that God gave man and animals back in the beginning. Are y'all listening to me? That's right. You look at the racehorse and the bull in the pasture. When have you seen a weak uh, ill-deformed built bull. They're all pretty big boys. I mean, barrel-chested. I mean, and a gorilla. I mean, have you seen a gorilla? Do you know what he can do? A gorilla can take his arms and he can take a truck tire, not a F-150, but I mean the big truck, the 28, what do you call it, 18-wheeler. He can take one of those tires and he can take his arms and he can squeeze it up like a balloon. Are you listening to me? And turn it loose. That's the strength in his arms. And he does not eat meat. Are y'all listening to me? Don't be deceived. I'm not saying that you're going to die and go to hell because you eat meat. What I am saying is that you're going to lose strength and vitality. In other words, even the animal products, as far as protein is concerned, that's what you're trying to get out of them. They're only about 23% protein. The rest of it is fat, poisons, toxins, growth hormones, all kinds of chemicals and things in there that you have to carve through to try to get out a little protein. Whereas you could take beans and they're full of protein. Beans and rice together give you more protein than you'd ever think of having. Okay? Grains have protein in them. Did you know that grains have all of the food groups in them? You can take grains and you can actually get sugar from it. Okay? You can get sweet from it. They take grains and like molasses, it comes from sugar cane. That's a grain, okay, that grows. And you can get your sweet from it. You can also get protein out of that. Rice has protein, it has starch. Nuts have wonderful protein in them. They also have carbohydrates in them, and you can squeeze them and get oil or fat from them. So each food has all three varieties of what you need in it. Some have more of this or less of this, but when you get a good variety of fruits, nuts, grains, and vegetables, you will have more than enough energy and more than enough protein for the body. And B12, all these things they say you can't get, it's as if God didn't know what he was doing. I dare say that he did know what he was doing when he gave us our food. And if you eat that food and eat it in good varieties, you will have all the energy, all the strength, all the protein, all the healing that you need. Because healing is the next thing we're going to talk about. So again, you've been with me here on the first half of this show. We're talking about eating. And this is the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. Right Stuff Helps because you've done the wrong stuff. Now we're trying to bring you the right stuff. So what are we saying here? We're saying you can give us a call, 901-425-2273, 901-425-2273, and we can talk to you about going a step further, showing you how to get a good dietary, showing you how to work with healing modalities to help your body to heal itself, put you on a 90-day program, showing you what to eat, what not to eat, exercise, drink, everything you need to do will be in your paperwork. So you'll have a map in front of you so that you can start bringing your sugar level down. You can start bringing your high blood pressure down. Hey, listen to me. You can bring your waistline in. You can get your obesity under control. Whatever sinus, a kidney, bladder, yeast, ovarian, whatever you're working with, you can be shown how to work with your body to help your body to heal itself the way it was designed to do. You're having kidney problems? Look and see if you're drinking enough water. The kidney is a water-based organ. Without the kidney, you'd have to drink 80 glasses of water a day. That would be impossible. So the key is you need the kidney and you need to do something that it needs, and that is give it more water. But these are the kind of things that we'll talk to you about if you give us a call, 901-425-2273, 901-425-2273, and we can talk to you about how to turn whatever's going wrong with you. We can show you how to get those concerns under control. All right. Well, we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about something else here. Again, I'm Dr. Franco Taylor. You're here with me on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast, WMPR 90.1 FM on the FM dial. And we're here every Tuesday morning from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And we're bringing you the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. That's right, the right stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about, and just remember, you want to live, you don't want to live to eat. You want to eat to live. You want to eat that which it takes to keep you strong and lively, as opposed to just eating day in, day out, getting stuffed, getting full, still having no energy, still being sick. That's not what it is. Talk to us, and we'll tell you how to get it right. Okay, we'll tell you about the right stuff as it relates to eating and healing. But as far as healing is concerned, I want to give you a couple of situations. We're going to talk about a couple of things here. Get something here, make sure I've got this all turned off. Okay. All right. If we look in the Bible, we can see healing. If we're going to talk about healing, where does healing take place? Where does natural healing take place? Because that's what I've done for 41, almost 42 years, taught people about natural healing, the natural way of being well, as opposed to, and not knocking drugs and medication, because there are times when you need those. They're absolutely necessary, but not always, okay? If we go to the Bible, we could go to the pool of Bethesda in John 5:12. And it says that at that pool, something strange happened at certain times of the year. So that people would come down to the pool of Bethesda, and if they were halt or withered, in other words, if they had problems in their limbs, arthritis, arthritic type situations, palsy, whatever it was, if they would come down to that stream, to that pool, at a certain time of the season, it said that the pool would be swirling. I mean, the waters would be rough and swirling. And if someone stepped into the pool, guess what would happen? They would be healed of their problem in their limb, whether with the arm, the hand, or the foot, or the leg, back, whatever it was, they would be healed. And what am I saying there? We're talking healing years ago with swirling water. What is swirling water? It's a whirlpool. Are you getting it? Back in God's day, back in Jesus's day, there was a whirlpool, and they got into the whirlpool. A lot of you are athletes. You know that I was an athlete, and I'm telling you, you can get a hip or a bone or a joint or an ankle or something swollen, twisted, fractured, or whatever, and you can get into a whirlpool, and whoa, you come out of there thinking that you're brand new. And that's the power of swirling water. Heated water swirling around you is actually a healing measure. We're talking about hydrotherapy. Hydrotherapy didn't begin with man in modern times. It went on way back in Jesus's day. At the pool of Bethesda, it was simply a whirlpool. And I have individuals that call me up and tell me about all the special teas and drinks that they make that are still delicious. We have one that we make, well, a couple actually. We have something called Belage, and we'll talk to you about that. But Belage literally can be made and drank as a tea. Absolutely delicious. The Belage has over 14 trillion, okay, 14 trillion nanoparticles with antioxidant molecules to literally go in and start retooling the body instantly, straight through the blood-brain barrier, straight through the cell walls at the cellular level. So what are we saying? We're saying that that's an herbal tea, so to speak. Well, it didn't just start in today's times. There was a time when Moses was leading the children of Israel through the wilderness. He had just gotten them out of bondage, and they were traveling through the wilderness for 40 years. But as they traveled, the scriptures tell us that once upon a time, they came to a place called Merah, and they couldn't drink the water, as thirsty as they were, because the water was basically poisoned. It was bitter, and it was called the bitter waters of Merah. But it says that Moses did something. Listen to me, folks. Listen to this carefully. It says that all the people were there trying to drink the water. They couldn't drink the water. It was poisoned. It was bitter. It was salty. It was just bad tasting. They couldn't stomach it, but they were thirsty. And it said that Moses took a bush, pulled it up out of the ground, shook the dirt off of it, and he took it and he threw it into the water. And guess what happened? It said the waters of Merah became sweet and they were able to drink it. All Moses did was he just what? He just made them some herbal tea. Oh, I don't know if y'all are getting this. He made them some herbal tea way back then. So healing with herbs is nothing new. It's been going on forever, folks. No new thing under the sun. And so that was the waters of Merah. Very, very important. Naaman. Naaman was the captain of the king of Syria. He was his captain, and he was over the army. And he had won so many battles for Syria that he was known as a mighty valiant man, a man of honor and of valor. And but he was a leper. And a leper was the case where, the skin is all falling off and coming off, and powerful, powerful thing. But he went and he was told by the maidservant, his maidservant, that if he would go and talk to the man of God, that he could be healed of his leprosy. And he did. And he was told to go and dip in the waters, the muddy waters of the Jordan River. And he, being a man of valor, said, why would I go and dip into that dirty river? Why can't I go to the waters of Pharpar and Damascus, the beautiful porches and pools and with all the good ceramic little items out there? Why do I have to go to this dirty water? Well, what made the Jordan River so dirty was that at that level, it was only like waist high, okay? And the walls around that water was what? It was clay. Are you listening to me? I'm going to show you something. Those clay walls did something. I'm saying that when he dipped in the water 7 times, I'm saying that what it did was it simply pulled the poisonous, toxic wastes out of his skin and helped to heal his skin. Because the clay was basically what we use today. Women use clay all the time to pull stuff out of their skin. We use it to pull out the bodies. We use charcoal poultices to pull poisons and toxins out. They do whole clay baths. People go to places where there's lots of clay and they get in the clay bath and they come out healed. Are you listening to me? No new thing under the sun. I'm saying that clay pulled the poison out of Naaman's body, and that's how he got well. There was another case where Christ used spittle and clay on a blind man's eyes. I'm saying again, we're in the same area of the country in Africa, and we're around the Jordan River, and I'm saying that was clay that he used to make the spittle with the clay, and he put it on the man's eyes, and it pulled what I'm saying could have been a cataract or whatever. It helped to pull the inflammation out of the eye, and the man was able to see again. We're talking about herbal formulas, herbal healing, all natural ways of being well. For those who have just joined, I'm Dr. Franco Taylor. We're talking today about eating. We talked about that in the first half. Now we're talking about healing, and we're talking about herbs. And we're looking at various ways of healing from back in the day, back in Christ's day, actually, that man did his healing, and it was all natural. There was a gentleman who was seemed to have been cursed in his day. He had a problem. He had boils under his arm, and these boils were literally bringing him to the point of death. And he was given an opportunity by a prophet who came to visit him. And the prophet told him to get his house in order. And Isaiah came to him and told him to get his house in order because he would surely die. And then Isaiah came back to him and said, hey, God has heard your cries. He's seen your tears. And he's going to give you some more time. This was good King Hezekiah. Our son's name is Hezekiah. Good King Hezekiah was given 15 more years by God. But there was something that had to happen in order for him to get those 15 years. He had been told by Isaiah to take a lump of figs and place them upon the boil, and he would recover. But he did this. Even though God had told him that he was going to give him 15 more years, he still did what Isaiah told him to do. He could have told Isaiah, I'm not going to use any hocus pocus. I'm not going to put those figs on me. I've already been told by God that I've got 15 more years. So what would have happened if he hadn't listened to Isaiah? He would have died because there was healing in just doing what God said do. Are you listening to what I'm saying? We found even today that tropical fruits like papaya and mango, figs, literally made poultices from them, and they can pull poisons and toxins and boils and fistulas and tumors out of bodies. That's right. They can help the body to heal because of the exotic tropical ingredients in these types of fruits and vegetables. So again, even back yonder, back there in the day of Christ, healing took place by way of herbs. And it's an amazing thing because in the beginning, God gave us the fruit, nuts, and grains and vegetables that were supposed to keep us alive forever. And in the Ezekiel, the 47th chapter, verse 12, God gave Ezekiel a vision of the earth made new. And what he told him was that he would see the tree of life, which represented Christ, and that it would yield its fruit 12 seasons of the year. And it says in Ezekiel 47:12 that the fruit of the tree would be your meat or your food, and the leaves thereof would be your medicine. So even back then, God said that your medicine and your food would be on the same tree. And that's kind of amazing because there's an individual, and he literally called the so-called father of medicine. And he said that let food be your medicine, and let medicine be your food. Wow. He was the so-called father of medicine. And he said something that God had said 6,000 years ago in Ezekiel, that let your food be your medicine would be your food and your medicine are on the same tree. And then in John, the last chapter of the Bible, said the same thing, that the leaves of the tree would be for the healing of the nation. So it has always been and always will be that herbs represent the best form of healing. Did you not know that most of the drugs on the market today are literally what? They're literally based on herbs. That's right. They're literally based on herbs. Yes, they are. So, what are we saying here? We're saying healing. Healing, God's way, is based on herbal background. Herbal background. All right. There was something else I wanted to say to you. There was one other instance from the Bible that I wanted to bring before you. Oh, let's see. There was another king. There was another king. I'm trying to think of which king this was. He had diabetes. It said that in his sickness, he didn't call upon the Lord, but he called upon the physicians. So again, we're not knocking physicians. It was only being shown that even back then, they didn't know what to do to get this completely healed. And it said that he went forward and he died because he didn't call on the Lord. He didn't use the Lord's measures. So I'm not saying don't go to a doctor. I'm simply saying go to the manufacturer. Go to God first because he's the one that gave you the body. He's the one that told you what to put in it to make it to operate the way that it was supposed to. And so if you go to him, you get it all together, okay? So again, I'm Dr. Franco Taylor. You can give me a call at 901-425-2273, 901-425-2273. And we can talk to you about a consultation. We can talk to you about getting you a protocol, getting a system set up just for you, personally designed for you, where you can get your diabetes, your high blood, your obesity, whatever it is that you're working with, your sinus, your headaches, your acid reflux, so forth, so on. We can show you how to get those under control. We can even show you how to begin to cut back on your own medicine as you desire between you and your doctor. You can literally get to the point where you can cut back on the drugs that are causing you so many serious side effects, adverse effects. We can show you how to get your doctor to literally take you off of them because you're getting well. Are you listening to me, folks? This is a powerful, powerful piece. We're talking about eating, healing, and herbs today. And we're finding that God had something for us in the processes that he had placed here for us. and it was in the food and in the herbs that we were to be well and to stay well. So, in order to get well, folks, we just need to go back to the Bible. We need to go back to the way God has told us to do things. We need to go back to the Bible way. Eating, healing, and herbs. I'm Dr. Franco Taylor. You're here with me on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast here on WMPR 90.1 FM on your radio dial every Tuesday morning, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. You can get us here. And if you give us a call, 901-425-2273, we can give you a link so that each and every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, we'll give you a medical moment. That's right, a medical moment. And this too, I'm sure you will really, really, really enjoy, because there's some powerful information that we put forth at that point in time. All right, let's talk just a little bit about something else. We're going to go in a little bit different direction here. I talked to you in the beginning. I told you that we would talk about health and we would talk about wealth. Well, that's awfully important that you talk about wealth with the health, because you need them both. There's a scripture that tells us, beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. Okay? Even as thy soul prospereth. That's important. God wants our souls, but he says that on this earth, I wish that thou mayest prosper and be in health. He wants his people to be healthy and wealthy. And that's powerful, because most of God's people are what? Sick and broke. Wow. That is something. We need to realize that God has an intention for us, and we're not making that. Somehow we missed it, because again, we're not healthy and wealthy. And what I want to say is that being in business for yourself is a powerful, powerful thing. God would want you to be in business for yourself. How do I know that? Because all of the disciples basically were fishermen, doctors, and so forth. But they basically were in business for themselves. So they were able to stop and follow Christ when he said, lay down your nets and come follow me. Okay? They literally were in business for themselves. And that's important even for you today. We've got formulas that work so well that it's unbelievable. This is called Clean Sweep Colon Brew. This is the first product that God blessed us to put together many years ago, 37, 38 years ago. And it goes into the body. It cleans out the system. It cleans out the colon. It causes the bowels to move like most people's don't move. And it does it in such a way that you don't have the the bloating and the flatulence and the griping that comes when the bowels haven't moved like they're supposed to. Well, with these formulas, that won't happen. It literally will clean you out, and you'll have what we call a smooth move, okay? It has anise and fennel and ginger to help you not have all the bloating and the griping that you would normally get, okay? And I'm going to pick something up here as I continue to talk. It has licorice root, and the licorice root is also designed to give you a natural form of cortisone. That means natural pain, because in most cases, individuals whose bowels have not moved in a long time, or they have not moved properly, then what's going to happen? They're literally going to have discomfort. When the bowels are trying to move, you're going to feel discomfort. And the licorice root is a natural cortisone for the pain and discomfort that comes with our bowels not moving like it's supposed to. We've got oat straw, we've got psyllium, which are all natural forms of fiber to go in and bulk up the bowels to help them to move smoothly. So again, powerful, powerful product. And this is where you start, folks. You don't want to clean up your system. You don't want to start a new diet. You don't want to try to lose weight or any of that without cleaning out that colon, cleaning out that body first. And the Clean Sweep Colon Brew has been around for almost 38 years, almost 4 generations of helping people to do just that. So again, you give us a call at 901 4. Okay, I'm trying to 425 2273. 425-2273. 901-425-2273. And that's Colon Broom. And then Sankey, our Sankey products, we have one here that's called Melange. Powerful, 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 powerful. God blessed me to find this company a year and a half ago. And he has blessed me to become the medical director of this Japanese-based formula. And the Melange literally, okay, all right. Someone was saying that they couldn't hear me that well. How about now? Do you hear me better? That's better? Very good, very good. Sorry about that. But the bottom line is the Melange literally, as I was saying earlier, has over 14,000 billion. That's 14 trillion nanoparticles with antioxidant molecules. Goes straight into the blood-brain barrier, straight into the cell walls at the microcellular level, begins to flush out the system, causes the blood to circulate the way that it's supposed to, causes the mitochondria to begin to beat, to give you energy. And the energy is necessary to carry out all the processes of the body. It actually gives the body what? Metabolites. Over 300 metabolites go straight into the system to help rebuild and reboot the body. What do metabolites do? Metabolites are what you normally would get from eating the proper nutrition, which most people don't do. So the Melange puts it in for you in a cold fermented fashion. It actually helps the body to do what? Make over 300 metabolites. Metabolites do three things. They give you energy, first of all. Number two, they replace damaged tissues and cells in your body. Gets them out of the body so they don't sit there and become a breeding ground for disease, okay? Number three, it removes wastes out of the cells and out of the body. So it gives you energy, first of all. It helps to get the dead tissues out, and then it helps to remove all the waste from the body. And when that happens, the body can do what it needs to do. It can be at a balance of pH 7.5 on the pH scale. It's at what we call homeostasis. It's at a balance. Your body is in euteromatic. It can do its own thing at that point. It's self-healing at that point. And that's what a lot of us have never ever had happen in our lives. So you can give me a call, Dr. Franco Taylor, 425-2273, 425-2273, and we can talk to you about how you can get your body balanced with the right types of foods and the right types of formulas that give the body what it needs so that it can heal itself. And again, the Melange also has enough antioxidant molecules in it to help completely reboot your immune system. It feeds the cells of the immune system so that the immune system can get to the point where it can fight off the invaders that come at it, okay? And then there's a formula that's called Cronui. Cronui is the formula from Sankey that literally uses thermogenesis, which is burning, to burn up excess fats and excess sugars out of the body. It burns them up when? At night. That's why it's called Cronui. Chrono has to do with the chronology of the body, okay, the clock of the body. At night is when you normally would gain weight. At night is when the blood pressure would go up and the A1C, the sugar level would go up because the body is burning all these fats and they're literally being reabsorbed into the system, into the bloodstream. Well, with the Cronui, they're burned up and turned into instant energy, and then the residues are taken out of the system, not into the bloodstream. So you wake up in the morning with your sugar level down. You wake up in the morning with your blood pressure down, your waistline going in. So what are we saying? We're saying, here's a formula that assists the body in breaking itself down at night so that you got the energy that you need to do all the processes, the energy that you need to go to sleep and have a good night's sleep with, because you're getting good circulation. Those fats and sugars and starches are not in the bloodstream. So again, your blood pressure is down, your sugar level's down. Powerful product is called Cronui. Again, these are from the Japanese-based form called Sankey, and that is the Melange. This is the Cronui. And both of these go hand in hand with our formula that's called the colon broom. So we clean out, and then we put in things that are designed specifically to help the body to heal itself with the nanotechnology, which means they're so small that they go straight through the blood-brain barrier and straight through the cell walls at the microcellular level. There are no other formulas on the planet that are designed to do this. So they work where others can't possibly work. They work to help the body start rearranging itself, to help the body to literally heal itself. So again, I'm Dr. Franco Taylor. You've been here with me on the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast. We just had a conversation today, okay? And we talked basically about eating. We talked about healing. We talked about herbs and the importance of them. And now we're talking about business. We've got formulas. If you call us, these formulas work so well that you can start receiving these formulas, and then you can share these formulas with others. That's right. For everyone that, for every 3 people that get these formulas, we'll give you 2 formulas for free. So you don't have to become a salesman or anything like that. Just share formulas that are one of a kind with others, and you'll receive your products for free. You can use them, or you can sell them if you want. And if you decide to sell them, that's 100% markup on your business. That's right. Sankey's helping you with your business, and she'll give you an app. Sankey will. You'll receive an app where you can send free products to your family, to your friends, anyone that you'd like to, free on the company. You're listening to me. And when they decide they want them, get paid. So again, you give me a call, Dr. Franco Taylor, at 901-425-2273, and ask me about this opportunity to literally have formulas that are one of a kind, formulas that help the body to heal itself, formulas that also allow you to make what I call adult money just by sharing these formulas with others. Oh, folks, this is a powerful, powerful piece. We're talking about the right stuff helps. And that's what we are here. The Right Stuff Helps. Again, every single Tuesday morning from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, you can visit us here for the Right Stuff Helps radio broadcast on WMPR 90.1 FM on your radio dial. That's right. We're coming straight out of Jackson, Mississippi. And let me just give you some particulars on us. You can reach us at www.rightstuffhealth, RightStuffHealth.com, rightstuffhealth.com. Or you can email us if you like at info@rightstuffhealth.com, or you can reach us at 901-425-2273. That's 901-425-2273. It's Dr. Franco Taylor. We'd like to hear from you. Turn that on. But again, you can reach us at 901-425-2273, Right Stuff Health, info at Right Stuff Health, or www.rightstuffhealth.com. And we'll be sure to get the information you need to start your own protocol, your own program, help you to get these formulas into your hands, and or show you how to begin to make a handsome income with these formulas. Again, I'm Dr. Franco Taylor. We appreciate you being here with us again every single Tuesday, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock here on WMPR 90.1 FM, broadcasting out of Jackson, Mississippi. Again, I'm Franco Taylor, Dr. Franco Taylor. Look forward to talking with you next week, same time, same station. And until then, this is Dr. Franco Taylor saying, I love you, and may God bless.